I'm so excited to start delving into this topic of masculine and feminine energy and how to create flow into our lives. It's definitely a concept that I didn't understand at first, and I was so lucky to have you guiding me along this journey. So, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So, I wanted to start off by asking, what is the difference between masculine and feminine energy?
Right. So I guess it comes down to the idea that we are energy, right? So we are made up of energy. And one of the universal laws is about polarity. And polarity really, it used to also be known as the law of gender. But essentially, the law of polarity talks about the fact that everything has opposing um, opposing sides on a continuum. So essentially, masculine and feminine energy is the idea that there is energy within us and that there are two sides to the continuum of this energy. One side is feminine and the other side is masculine. And it is actually irrelevant of sex and gender. And it's more talking about the qualities that we exhibit in ourselves and how we embody it in our day to day. So when we say feminine energy, we're talking about things like flow, receiving, love, intuition, compassion, um, chaos. That is part of the divine feminine, is for things to be a mess. Because from that chaos is where we find creativity. And it's also where we find birth of new things in life. So on the opposite side of that same continuum, we have masculine energy. And masculine energy is structure and drive. It is being organized and planning. It is giving. It is a part of us that gives. Um, it is a part of us that, really harnesses these traits of, you know, of power and strength, because the feminine is more about like rest and relaxing. And so they're actually made up of the same, it comes from the same place, but that there are different opposing qualities in each. And that's how we come up with this concept of masculine and feminine energy.
Yeah, I'll be honest, when you first introduced the concept to me, I didn't get it. I'm like, what does she mean by masculine and feminine energy? I am a female, so aren't I meant to be embodying feminine energy already? But I
Hmm.
feel like after learning more about it, especially from you, and we live in a society now where we're just like masculine dominant. Everything is about do, do,
Mm.
do, and I feel like even though, like myself being a mum, I lost that feminine essence, should say,
Yeah.
that flow that you mentioned.
Yeah, totally. And so many of us have. Like the thing with, just because you're a woman doesn't necessarily mean that you will always embody that feminine energy, because it has a time and a place. But what I find with most of the women that I work with, like you are a perfect example, is that we would think that we were being feminine,
Mm,
or we would think that we were embodying those feminine qualities, but actually we valued the masculine way more than we did the feminine. And that caused a lot of disharmony within us.
yeah.
Like a lot of women wonder why they always feel like shit. Well, maybe it's because you've spent so much time in your masculine and you had no idea, and your mind and your body have been screaming out for you to like just embody a different energy,
Yeah.
which is rest and flow and trust.
Yeah.
Trusting that things will happen instead of wanting to control every single thing because we're afraid that it won't happen otherwise.
Yeah, but that was so tough for me. That surrender, that trust, and just knowing that
Mm.
everything's gonna be okay if you don't do the dishes now or you do them later and just spend time with the boys, right?
Yeah. And it was so funny because it really started that simple.
Yeah.
Those were the questions that we started busting
Mhm.
through. You know, it wasn't like this big thing of like, to embody your feminine, you must, you know, wear a crown and wear, you know, like wear
Oh,
pink,
totally
or, you
not
know, it
like that.
wasn't,
That's not me.
yeah, right? Like, neither am I. My favorite color is pink, although my yoga mat is now pink, which I'm pretty excited about. But that's as pink as I get, even though pink is like my favorite color.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, we started with little things
Yeah.
to really start to embody that healthy divine feminine.
So I'm sure everyone wants to know, how can we incorporate these different energies into our lives? And I remember I'd love for you to share, because you gave some awesome examples when we were working together, and they were so hard for me to do. I'm not going to lie, but
Mm.
I'd love for you to share some. Yeah, how can we incorporate, even become more aware of what we're doing when we're being in the masculine and the feminine, and how to incorporate the
Yeah.
difference?
Well, so I guess really when we're feeling that disharmony or when we're feeling that imbalance, it's because we're potentially embodying this wounded aspect of our masculine energy. Because if our masculine was healthy, we probably wouldn't notice. We'd feel quite good. The trouble is that it's normally quite wounded. So these ideas of dominating, control, avoiding, um, they are these like aspects of ourselves that when we are constantly in that state, we really start to feel it in our minds,
Mm.
perhaps through a lot of like anxious thoughts, but it can even start to manifest in our body, like physical ailments, you know, because we're just forcing, you know, we're really trying to just manipulate and make things happen. And when we're constantly doing that, that's when shit starts to go sideways.
Yeah.
So how do we heal that part of us? Well, we start to embody the feminine. And like with you, it was like so simple. I remember we had a coaching call and you were so shocked because you were like, Tiff, instead of cleaning the kitchen, I had 15 minutes between calls and I decided to eat my lunch outside with the boys.
Yeah. I'll never forget that.
And it was that simple, right? It was that.
Yeah.
And how much better did you
Oh,
feel?
100%. 100%. But like, it was hard. Like that first step, it was
Yeah.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. The voice in your
Yeah.
head that's like, you're going to leave your kitchen like this?
Yep.
Like, what?
What are you doing? You should be
Yeah. What do you,
outside.
how can you do that?
Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that so clear. And you know which other example I remember you two saying to me, because I love working out, right? I love moving my body.
Mm.
I remember I was
Mm-hmm.
talking about how, and you were saying how to incorporate the feminine energy while I'm working out is listening to music, right? So just
Mm.
having that, like, working out is that masculine aspect, because I love doing hit workouts. I love doing those
Mm. I mean,
fast-paced
I tried,
ones.
didn't I? I even tried to convince you. I was like, what if you just did like a slow
Yeah.
flow instead? And you were like, no.
No, not happening.
And then I was like, okay, that's fine. You don't have to. Like, if you love a hit workout, if you love like getting your heart racing and
Yep.
feeling that sweat, then that's what you should do, right? But it doesn't mean that you can't inject
Mhm.
that feminine quality by, you know, listening to Ariana Grande
Yep.
while you do your hit workout, you know, or whatever artist really makes you kind of feel like feminine or sexy,
Yeah,
or you know, just really makes you feel into that part of you that is just I am woman, hear me
yep,
roar kind of aspect, you know. You
100%.
can play that music. You could, I mean, we talked about you can like light candles
Mm,
or use a essential oil or a mist, you know, to make it kind of smell. And it's not that those things are like that they can't be masculine, because masculine also likes things to be really clean,
mhm.
right? Because it likes it neat and orderly, whereas the feminine is chaos and
Yeah,
can be messy,
yeah,
right? You know, so but it's really like what parts really help you feel in tune with that part of you that really feels kind of natural and intuitive.
yeah.
Um, and, you know, I guess a really amazing way to look at it is, you know, like if I was coming from this place, like just asking yourself, okay, I'm going to do this workout, right? If I was going to do this workout coming from a place of love, what would I do differently?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
How would I, if I was coming from a place of compassion, deep compassion, how would I do this workout? And I can guarantee you that it's probably really different to how most of us exercise.
Yeah.
We go in because we're like, you know, if I do this exercise, then I can have this meal.
Mhm.
Or if I do this exercise, like, so that I won't gain weight.
Yeah.
Or, it's really coming from this place of almost scarcity, of fear. If I don't do this, this bad thing will happen, or I can't get the reward that I want.
Yeah.
If you ask the question, how could I do this workout from a place of love? I mean, that completely changes the way you work out.
Oh, 100%. And that was what I wanted to go into next is like when we create this synergy, like this flow with our energy, like what can we
Mm.
expect to change?
You know what? I mean, you would know this, and I experienced this myself. Like, at the start, it's so little.
Mm,
It's this tiniest shift inside. You can't quite put your finger on it, but you just know that something feels different. Perhaps it feels a bit better. You might feel almost like this sense of um like relaxation or calm, like your body actually goes, ah,
yeah.
and it just kind of like settles. You may even feel like a lightness to you. Like you may look around and go, oh, like I didn't realize I was feeling heavy.
Mm,
Oh, like I'm feeling a bit lighter now. That's kind of cool. So in the short term, it's like these really little things. And most women that I work with say that to me. They're like, oh, like I didn't change anything big. Like I just did this little thing. And that's really all it is. I mean, that was my post recently, right? Like from little things, big change happens.
yeah.
Because over time, when you look back at all these little micro shifts that you made in your day, you look at that version of yourself that you used to be and you go, whoa, I'm different.
Yeah.
I am not that same woman that I was 2 weeks ago, a month ago, 3 months ago. Like, I am the woman that chooses to spend time with her sons instead of constantly cleaning the
Yeah.
house or constantly filling my schedule with calls so that I can feel like I'm being successful or that I'm enough. Like that we will choose ourselves and our well-being um, over other things because we recognize that we are worthy of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
You know.
yeah, that was huge for me, and even now it's still a journey going through it. I feel like
Hmm.
understanding the difference between the masculine and feminine energy and when to kind of bring each of them in, it
Yeah.
just allowed me to become more aware. And
Yes.
also, like you just said, it's like this element of freedom. Like you're just like,
Mm.
ah, I'm actually having what I want for breakfast instead of what I should have, or
Yes.
doing that workout because I should be doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And that you can listen to your
mhm,
heart and listen to your gut and your emotions in what they're like trying to tell you around, you know, yes, I still want to work out because I love moving my body. I love my body and I want it to move, but do I have to do it this way, or do I have to do it at this
yep,
time? Or do I have to do it for this long? Being able to play with different things. Like yesterday, a couple of days ago, I wanted to go for a walk and it started pissing down rain as it does in
yep,
Melbourne. And so I was like, okay, well, if I can't do that, what do I want to do? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a 10-minute yoga flow. I'm just going to set a timer, 10 minutes, and wherever I get to in the 10 minutes, that's where I get up to.
mhm,
And at the start, it felt a bit odd because normally I like to do a longer flow. But after the 10 minutes, I was like, you know what? I feel really good.
yeah,
And it's this ability to make choices for ourselves without feeling guilty, without feeling shame or like we're punishing ourselves. Like, can we make these choices because we care about ourselves and we feel that we are worthy of feeling good, feeling lighter, feeling flow.
yeah,
um And I guess like one thing that I think gets a bit misconstrued with masculine and feminine energy is striving for balance. And in
Mm,
my mind, and we talked about this a
yep.
lot in the Heal Your Heart program, that perhaps balance isn't the goal, because balance in my mind, and it may be different for you, but I think of balance as 50-50.
Yeah. Yep.
Like I want to be 50% feminine and 50% masculine energy, and that's the ultimate goal. Now, in some circumstances, you definitely need that 50-50. Like when it comes to my business, I need 50-50. I need the part of me that is creative and chaotic and deeply feeling, to come up with ideas to coach women to work through what they're going through. But then there's another part of me that needs to be structured and planned.
Yep.
Like I have to come up with a monthly schedule of what's going to happen each month so that the girls that I work with know what's coming up and what to put in their calendars. I can't just show up one day and be like, "Girls, everyone jump on a call. I'm going to do this." Like it does,
Won't
it's
work.
too
Yep.
chaotic. Yeah, right? So that in some instances, yes, we need this kind of almost 50-50 balance. The issue is I think most of us think we always have to have 50-50.
Yes. That was something
You
that,
know, which
yeah. Remember that was something that I struggled with, like
mm,
thinking that, and then you were like, well, no, if you're working for the first half of the day in your masculine, then what's something that you can do for the rest of the day in your feminine
yeah,
to give back?
and because there are times in our life, like if we always have to be 50-50, it's just not going to work, because it's energy. Energy moves and it does weird shit. It's not always the same. And when we are, thinking about, there are times, like you said, when you're working on your business in the morning, it is more masculine. Like you lean into your masculine energy so that you can get shit done,
Yep.
you know? But you can start to feel it. You start to feel kind of the weight of being in that energy, for an extended period of time. So then, how can we start to find that harmony? Can we allow ourselves, instead of to keep
Yep.
pushing that masculine energy, can we then like take a step back and, like you started taking your boys out in the afternoon, like you guys would go to the park,
Yep.
or you would just spend some time with them just doing whatever they wanted, which I can guarantee was really
Yes.
chaotic, whatever they wanted to be
Yep.
doing. And like, and it's just this really kind of, when we realize that we don't always have to be in balance, that we're allowed to kind of ebb and flow between the two, that we can lean on one and then lean on the other to create flow in our lives. That's where we get freedom. And we
Yep.
also get this ability to choose how we want to embody this energy in our day-to-day
Yeah, I
lives.
feel like since like learning it and working together with it all, it's kind of evolved for me. Like I'm more relaxed about it. Like I just know, like yesterday in the morning was so chaotic, like it was so busy. And I'm like, it got to the point in the afternoon, I'm like, I need a rest. Like, what's something that I can do to just, just relax? Because I needed that. I needed that relaxation. So I put on a
Yeah.
face mask and did a body scrub
Yeah.
and all of that stuff. All that fun girly
Yeah.
stuff. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, because it's really easy to have a masculine, like to embody the masculine in having a shower,
yeah,
right? Which is like get in there,
yep.
clean yourself so you don't stink, and then get out.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, but then to embody the feminine in cleaning ourselves is like, oh, well, like, yeah, I'm going to put a face mask on and I'm going to use a scrub and I'm going to take my time and,
Yep,
maybe I'll play some nice music while I do it. And it's like, yeah, like that's how we can start to bring, this harmony in our different energies and play with both ends of the same continuum.
yep. Oh, love it. So, all right, so we spoke about masculine energy and that's very structured. But what are
Mm.
some things like, I know being a mum, it used to be the last thought that I would have, yeah, to look after me
Yeah.
or to do anything
Hmm.
feminine. It was always go, 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 go. So, what are some things that women can do during the day to tune into
Mm.
that, feminine energy? Because I feel like a lot of my audience and the women that I work with and the ones that I talk to are really dominant in that masculine energy. So what are some
Mm,
things that they can do to bring more feminine into their lives?
yeah. I mean, the easiest one is to take a breath.
Mm,
You know, the when we're embodying that masculine, it's like you said, it's go, go, go. No, like everything is happening at once. Can you just pause and take 3 deep breaths?
mhm.
Like that takes 10 seconds, right? And just breathe into whatever you're feeling, whatever you're experiencing, and then you can open your eyes and carry on. So that's like one really simple thing that you can do, because the masculine wants you to keep going and the feminine wants you to rest. And while you may not be able to fully rest in that moment, can you give yourself like 3 breaths just to breathe? Um, Little check-ins are really great as well. Um, just again pausing and just going, okay, how am I feeling in this moment? And just give it a name, whatever it is. I'm feeling rushed. I'm feeling worried. Um, I'm feeling crazy. Just give it a name and then go, okay, yep, that's what I'm feeling. And then keep going. Labeling our feelings, or even labeling our thoughts. If your mind is racing, are you planning? Are you reminiscing? Are you, you know, whatever it is, whatever type of thought process you're having, can you label that? And just go, okay, cool. That's cool. That's what's happening right now. The final thing that I would say that really helps us start to tap into this feminine is to, oh my gosh, I just forgot it. So breathing, tapping into our feelings or our emotions, and dance.
Yes.
Just dance. Pop on like a song, get the kids to join you,
Yeah.
like get them to pick the song if you want, and just move your body. Like that is probably one of the most beautiful embodiments of the feminine energy, is actually allowing our body to move the way it wants to move.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Um, yeah.
I love it.
And you can also sing, but not everyone feels comfortable to sing. But at minimum, if you can dance and allow your body to kind of move and flow, that is a really beautiful feminine energy practice.
I feel like when you say tuning into your feminine energy, it's like being a little kid again. Like who
Yeah.
dances and who sings like just for no reason? Yeah,
Randomly.
randomly.
Other than
Yeah,
me,
oh,
no,
other
yeah,
than
not
you.
many
Yeah.
adults.
You're the exception. But like
Yeah.
my kids are doing it and now I'm like, I'll join them.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, totally. And I think, because I mean, they are those things. Like, think about it. Like, kids are chaos.
Oh yeah.
Kids are like just running around, make believe, right? They just come up with these crazy
Yeah.
stories or these crazy creations. And you're like, whoa, like, where does this come from? They do just dance.
Mhm.
Like 1 minute they're doing something, and the next you look at them and they're just like bopping their little
Yep.
butts because they've just like heard something. They're like, I like this.
Well,
This is
Leo
cool.
started singing now, like randomly. These random
I
songs. And I'm
love
just
it.
like, oh, okay. So yeah, singing.
Yeah, yep. And that is something that a lot of us have lost touch with,
Yeah.
because we live in a quite a masculine society. We value time, we
Hmm.
value, status, we value being in control.
Yeah.
Like when we feel out of control, how many of us lose our shit because we feel like we've lost it,
Yes. Oh. And when things don't go to
and
plan, like you said, out of
yeah,
control. Oh, that used to be a big
yeah,
one for me, just losing my mind. This didn't work
yeah,
out at this time or this moment. Then the whole world's going to fall apart. But just having that
yeah,
now, having that trust and okay, there's a bigger plan for what's happening right now.
Yes. Maybe I wasn't meant to do all of that stuff,
Yeah.
you know? Um, and it's yeah, you know what? And if you are listening to this and you're going, "Oh my God, how am I meant to do this?" Carmel and I both asked the same question. At some point in our journey, we've sat there and we're like, ugh, like, how am I supposed to bring this to life?
Yeah.
And if you can start with these little things like taking a breath, labeling your feelings, labeling your thoughts, and dancing,
Hmm.
like just try moving your body. That's where it starts, right? It starts in these really little, beautiful moments, and you'll be surprised over time. You'll look back and go, damn, I've changed.
Yep. 100%. Awesome. Well, was there anything that you wanted to add or you wanted to share about energy?
You know, I think, well, I would just say that learning to embody our healthy divine feminine is one of the most courageous things we can do as women. Because living in a world that suggests that we should be
Hmm.
otherwise, it takes a lot of courage to actually step into that and still be that, even though there's a world that might say, like, you're crazy for dancing. I was out on the street with my family, and one of my family members were like walking towards me on the street, a busy street, and I just started dancing. And as they were walking towards me, they were like, oh God,
I don't want to go.
I wanted to. Yeah, I wanted to. And so I did it. And like, my whole family were like, oh, Tiff's doing crazy things again. And it's like, like it takes a lot of courage to kind of live in that space where it's what I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so I did it anyway,
Yeah.
even though I knew they were going to make comments, and like the people I live with, my husband, like they make comments all the time. And yet I choose to live in alignment with my divine feminine.
Oh, love
And
it.
so, yeah,
Love it.
if you can even just stop and take that breath, or, once a week, put on a song and have a little dance party of one,
Yeah.
um, that is a courageous act. And know that Carmel and I are doing it with
Yep.
you.
100%. And we were just as uncomfortable at the start like you are.
Mm.
100%.
Yes, exactly. Yes, 100%.
Awesome. Well, I would love to end the show with a question. And you
Mm.
did touch on it, but now we're just going to break it down to just one. But what is
Okay.
one actionable step that you would recommend to someone who wants to start embodying more of that feminine energy today?
When you wake up, dance.
Love it.
As soon as you get out of bed, pick a song and dance. If you want to, and do that every day.
Yeah. Awesome. What a fantastic routine to wake up to.
Yeah,
100%.
it has saved my ass more times than I can count.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see everyone dancing out of bed. I know
Yep.
partners are probably going to be like,
You should tag us
oh,
in it. Oh my
100%.
gosh, tag us if you do a morning dance party. That I will freaking froth that.
Yep. Well, that's what you made us do in your Facebook group. We had to do a dance party.
I did.
Yes.
Yes, I
It's all about
did. And I
dancing.
got you to stream it live.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Well, I wanted to thank you so much for coming on the show today, Tiff, and
Oh, thank you for having
and
me.
acknowledge you for the amazing work that you do and the value that you have just shared with my audience today. And I love tuning into your videos and your reels and your coaching calls and just being able to learn deeper about myself as well, which
Yeah.
is what I love. So please share
Yes.
with everyone where they can find you.
So you can find me on Facebook. So if you want to see the type of stuff that Carmel was mentioning, I have a free Facebook group called Healing Our Hearts, that you are more than welcome to join, where I share free mini trainings and workshops, meditations, journal prompts, all the good juicy stuff is in there for anyone to come join us. And otherwise, if you want, you can also follow me on Tiffany Roxas Coaching on Instagram. Um, that's where I let a lot of my creativity flow
Yeah.
through that through that channel. So that's where you can find me. Yeah, there's actually a new training that I'm about to release that Carmel actually hasn't done.
Ooh,
So you might
okay.
see her in this mini training. It's called Badass Self Love.
Ooh, love it. And that's like
So
what we
that
were
is coming
speaking
up.
about today, kind of. Self-love.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. How
Yeah,
fitting.
totally. Yeah. So that is coming up next as a new mini training that I'll be rolling out, which is free for anyone to join. So you can also check that out if you're ready to self love like a badass. Let's do it.
Love it. Well, all of this information will be in the free downloadable cheat sheet that you guys are going to get and in the show notes too. So thank you so much again, Tiff. It's just been so much fun. We could talk for hours.
Yes, we literally
Yeah,
could.
so
We
yeah,
have.
we have. So I'm like, we need to cap this. But
Yes.
I'm definitely looking forward to having you back on for another chat and another topic that I know will
Mm.
just blow everyone's mind again.
Yeah, and thank you so much for bringing this type of conversation out into the world. Not everybody is talking about energy and
Hmm.
emotion, and yeah, and it's something that I think we both are really passionate about as part of our healing journey. So
100%.
thank you for letting me jump on and
You're welcome.
chat all these
You're
things.
welcome. Well, we'll see you again soon.
Yes.
And yeah, have an awesome day. Chat soon.
You too.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.